Okay, Marisol, thanks. Well, when you hear the stories of parents who have turned against their own children, hurt their own children, the question always comes to mind, what causes it? What could possibly cause a parent to do this? And ABC's Heather Cabot decided to look into this question of raging parents for new causes and new solutions, and she's here with them this morning. Hey, Heather.
Thanks, Diane. It's a dark topic for sure, but child abuse experts tell us those horrific cases, those really extreme cases that make headlines they're rare, and they often involve untreated mental illness. That said, every day an estimated 4 children die of abuse and neglect in this country. Often the violence comes at the hands of average parents struggling with drug or alcohol addiction or a history of abuse or even a genetic predisposition to aggression. But the ultimate trigger seems to be extreme stress, many times brought on by poverty and isolation. That's where Patty Enciso's story begins.
There was times that I would, out of nowhere, I would just come and I would hit her. So, I would actually slap her in the mouth and pull her hair and call her names.
Patty Enciso remembers with horror and shame how as a single unemployed mother, she raged out of control every time her baby cried.
I would snap just like this.
She once threw her crying infant so hard that the baby bounced off a bed and into a wall. That baby, Crystal, is now 19 years old. What was one of the worst times?
One time she had me in the corner. She was just hitting me and beating, stalking me and stuff.
One time I went to love her, to give her some love, to caress her. And this little girl thought that I was going to hit her. And she picked up her hand to protect herself. And when she did that, that's when I said, oh my God, I need help.
That was Patty's wake-up call 10 years ago. She vowed she would never again abuse Crystal. But Crystal will never forget, and that could be a problem.
The best estimate is that 1 in 3 of individuals with a history of abuse will repeat the cycle in the next generation.
And the next generation is here. Crystal is now the mother of a 2-year-old boy, Richie.
No, you don't do that.
And insists she'd never hurt her only child. But there's new research that suggests the risks may be more complex. Yale researcher Dr. Joan Kaufman is using brain imaging technology to study how the brain is actually changed by abuse. New research suggests that when a child is abused, the part of the brain called the amygdala becomes hypersensitive to stress, sending alarms to the prefrontal cortex, which acts like a guard, ready to stop violent impulses. Constant abuse lowers that guard, making it much harder for a person to stay in control.
Little things that might make another person sort of not think twice can really push a person with a history of abuse over the edge.
But scientists are learning that those brain changes can be overcome with therapy, medication, and positive relationships. Patty, now a mother of 4 and a grandmother too, and going through a divorce, is getting support every week with a group called Parents Anonymous.
He has a drug problem.
Good Morning America cameras were allowed rare access to one of Patty's sessions in Pomona, California, where parents share problems and solutions.
Something triggered it for him to go to that raging person, and this time he did it out in public.
People need to really examine those triggers that are their personal triggers, and they need to find a way to step back. Counting to 10 may not be enough. You might need to count to 100. Putting yourself in a safe place, calling a friend to come over and take over your kids so you can really deal with what's going on with you.
You and Crystal have reconciled.
Yes.
Have you ever told her you were sorry?
Oh yeah, yes I have.
I just started crying and I just told her that it was okay.
Today, mother and daughter are working hard together to ensure the cycle of abuse never resumes.
Whatever life has thrown at us growing up, we don't have to be the ones to continue the same abuse and give it to the next generation, And we could stop. We could stop.
Not only has Patty become a role model for Crystal, she's become a leader within Parents Anonymous and has committed herself to inspiring other parents to find the strength to get help.
And
Diane?
if you think you're seeing it, if you suspect it in someone else, what do you do?
Well, number one, we should say that child welfare advocates believe that child abuse reports are very much underreported, even though every year there are about 1 million substantiated reports of abuse and neglect. But what you should do is call your local Department of Children and Family Services. If you believe a child is in immediate danger, you should call 911.
Okay. Thanks, Heather. It's now 12 minutes past, and more signs of abuse and more resources at gma.abcnews.com.